This is John McQuay with 8541 Tactical, and we're here at the 2023 ISOA show, and I've got John with Jersey Tactical with me. He's going to talk to me a little bit about a couple of their products. John?
So we're bringing the Claw, which right now is super popular in America for patrol response to an active shooter. So what you see here is essentially our Ghost Sling, and so it allows you to mount different things onto the sling for this tool. An extra magazine, IFAKs or stop the bleed, a single point quick disconnect that you can hook onto a rifle or other things, a utility pouch, some cutters in there, and then a little purchase point wedge that we use for patrol and first responders to start your purchase point for breaching.
Okay.
Made it so that it's super easy to put on and off, single point sling basically, up over one trap and rides your hip, stays in place. Also made it so that it just had a heavy bungee on it and no buckles, so that way it wouldn't break when your patrol was using it all the time.
Right.
So essentially, basically, you would go and pull this to the front of your person. It would be sitting like this. You would just pull that bungee off, and this slides straight out. This would stay on your person, so that all your gear is still with you, okay. And then your tools right here in your possession. So you can see when holding it, that's a 30-inch claw, and that literally weighs, we say 10 pounds, it's actually a little bit under 10 pounds. So that's what everybody's been using post-Uvalde. Everybody found us, and we've been insanely busy.
Okay. Now, I noticed this looks a little bit different than your standard Halligan, or you want to talk a little bit about the design on it?
Right. We've been in business since basically 2007, and so we started basically building stuff to replace stuff that didn't work or stuff that was breaking. And so the first project, we literally went to a junkyard and bought junkyard steel and started making our own stuff. No business, no anything. We weren't Jersey Tactical. We were just some cops that wanted to make better stuff.
Okay.
Along from there, we made our first product called the Jersey Boot, and we were writing personal checks and all this other stuff to pay for it, and we weren't in business and had wooden models and no CAD drawings. This was before the internet. So how this came about was basically from 2008 to 2009, when we were understanding that hey, patrol is really the response for active shooter. You know, now we think everybody should know that. Yeah. It's really not a SWAT thing or a specialized unit thing, it's patrol response, and hopefully everybody understands that. So we've been doing that literally forever, teaching that and believing that, and others as well. So anyway, when we were trying to go ahead and show this Jersey Boot, the feedback was it can't be used by patrol, right? Does it come with the SWAT guy, the breacher, and so forth? And instead of putting our head in the sand and just saying no, we know what we're doing, eat your Wheaties type thing. If enough people say that to you, well, you have two options, right? Do you do Albert Einstein, definition of insanity, to do the same thing over and over again, expect different results, which is like my favorite quote ever, or do you listen to them? So we listened to them. We went back to the drawing board, the end user, and we had parameters. Hey, it had to be smaller, it had to be lighter, it had to be safer, it had to be easier, it had to have instructions, it had to have videos. And we developed this whole thing, came in under 10 pounds, similar of the head of the claw of the boot, and it's got a full set of written instructions, and it's got a full set of videos. Okay. So it allows you, let's say you're the boss that buys it for your officers. It allows you, before you do any live training, to issue a set of instructions and handpick whatever videos you like and put them out into roll call before you ever do any live training.
Nice.
So we would see this over and over and over again, right? And it reared its head in Uvalde, whether the door was locked or not locked, they believed it was, and the keys weren't working. Right after that in Oklahoma, they used this tool to open like 18 doors in like under a minute and so forth, and so on. Even in Nashville, the latest one in Nashville, right? We had spoke to them as well and working with them to do some training. If you go back and watch the video, and first of all, I want to make sure that people realize that they did a great job. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about them. They did an amazing job and saved lives and did a great job. I think everybody knows that. But if you watch the video, there was a delayed response, and it was, they went to go to direct threat, and they went up the stairwell, and what'd you see in the video? The doors were locked, there were no windows, and they're like, hey, the doors are locked. They got no tools, so they literally posted somebody and had to go all the way back around. Yeah. So it's still a factor today. We took everything that we loved about a Halligan, and we got rid of everything that we thought was dangerous or wasn't accessible for a novice.
Okay.
So most people don't even know what that pointy thing is on a Halligan. It's called a pike. Most people don't even know how to use it. So we basically took our pike, and our pike is in here. Okay. So Everything's in here. There's no forks on the end that hurt the person. All the weight's forward. So if I took a Halligan and I did it, it'd be perfectly balanced. Here it goes forward. So all the weight's mostly forward, so I can use this as a sledgehammer. So it stands up by itself so it doesn't fall over. But the really biggest thing that we did on the whole project was we took something where we could take the person with little to no experience and show them some videos and read some instructions, and they can successfully open some school doors and save kids.
Okay.
So to show what we did as far as like a mechanical advantage for a quick demo is our purchase point wedge. So a couple things. This is an inward opening door, so we'll demonstrate it here for you. And then we can do an outward opening door to show how this helps the patrol officer. This and this, there's not much a patrol officer can't open by themselves. And they could do some of the stuff even outside the threshold, because what we found was one of the most overlooked questions that patrol asks, or is afraid to ask, because they're basically kind of like beat up by it, by like the instructors. Because when they ask, or they want to ask, like, hey, what happens when the guy shoots through the door? So they're usually told like, hey, kids are dying, do better, rip open your shirt, show your red S, drive your car through the door, all this gibberish that's not realistic or never going to work. You know, drive the car through the building drives me insane. We've done 100 videos to show that it doesn't work. There's things called airbags that go off. In case you live in a cave, all the new cars have crumple zone, so they crush and pin you into the car. Why? So that, because of NHTSA, you don't get tossed out of a car in a crash. Also, if you did any patrol work, you would know that a lot of people have died from a crash of going 30, 40 miles an hour to a sudden stop. So now I'm going to go hit a brick wall at 30 miles an hour. The odds of you getting out of that car are very low. You blew your back out, 100 other injuries. So we're going to take our purchase point wedge and our claw, and we're going to marry them together. When we marry them together, we make a fulcrum, right? And then when we snap them together, they're actually going to make a spreader. So we have a fulcrum and a compound angle and a force multiplier, simply by putting these two shapes together. And I know you're thinking, how could a caveman like this be talking about physics and all that stuff? It's a great question. I'll explain it like this. Construction and donkey labor, that's what I grew up on, all right? And that's what my partner grew up on. So we'll come in here like this, and so we'll put it in here like this. Now, the further I get into the doorstop, the greater the mechanical advantage. And this is all stuff we teach to our patrol people. What if there's a wall, real life? Everybody that teaches this or does a video on this, they're out in this huge wide open facade or unrealistic stuff, right? So let's say, hey, it's corner fed, because that could happen in a dorm or in a real commercial building. Like in this hotel, there's 100 doors that are in the corner of the hallway. And now we can't go out past the threshold here because there's a wall. Would it be fair to say that most of the walls would be 4 to 5 inches past here? Yeah, even if there's a wall right here, they're not gonna be right up on the seam of the door. So now simply by adjusting this like a slide ruler back and forth, we could bring that handle back in to where it wouldn't hit the wall. So we come in here like this, oh, the wall's there. So we slide it back, and now we're past where the wall is. So now all we're going to do is basically take this fulcrum that we added, and because of this huge footprint, we don't have to be perfectly lined up like we'd have to be on the ads of a Halligan or so forth. And we're going to come out here all the way on the end, which is what we recommend for patrol, for 30 inches mechanical advantage. And all we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to walk in a circle like such, right? And once we take out the slack, you can see the wood starting to go. If it doesn't go from here from walking, which it's gonna, we could teach the person to go and use every little bit of their person and their weight simply by coming here and swinging this leg in a circular motion. Right? All these little tricks are what we're teaching patrol, right? So they come here, they come back, and they pop it open. And we just went and popped an inward opening door. That type of resistance right there with the multiple pieces of wood that we just put in there would simulate your average school door with a plunger lock and a deadbolt that they added for lockdowns. Most of the schools added deadbolts. So you're going to be able to now open that school door and save kids. We could do the same thing on an outward opening door with some different techniques, but again, we're able to take one officer and we're able to do that. If we have an officer and another officer with a pair of these, because they're super affordable, then we could do totally different techniques where they can actually push the door open. So we could take a pair of these and actually hook in like this and strike it, which are all on our Instagram and our YouTube channels, and they're outside that threshold. So if rounds are coming through the door, they're not eating rounds. You know, a couple other things that we also did to answer that question was, we have a BSK, breacher shield kit. It's $50. You go on our website, it's a one-time purchase, it's nothing earth-shattering, but basically it allows you to mount a shield on a door, inward or outward, and breach with it. So now all these shields that patrol's buying, right, nobody teaches them how to use them for breaching, right? They do hall bosses, all this different stuff. Wouldn't it be a great idea to show them how to breach with it? So we show them the easiest way. Take this kit and then go ahead, and with this kit, I can mount it on a door literally in under a second and start popping doors, inward or outward open. All this stuff's at jerseytactical.com or on our Instagram at jersey.tactical.
All right, John, well, that's a really great demonstration. It seems like you guys have put a ton of thought into this tool, and really, you have a system that I know our department purchased a bunch of them that departments across the country can use to be able to rapidly get in to where they can do the most. If guys want to find out more information about the tool or how to purchase one, where do they go to?
So again, jerseytactical.com, or obviously on social media, our Instagram, you can find it at jersey.tactical, and obviously we can go down that rabbit hole from there.
All right. Well, thanks a lot,
Thank you very
John.
much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Also, it's made 100% in the USA, which is important.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Definitely.